This is my story. My name is JD.
Welcome back, shooters, for another edition of Shooting Straight, a handball podcast with JD and Max. Max, how we doing this Thursday?
You know, it's been a minute, JD. We're doing good. We are in the new condo, which is very nice to be in. A very, very good environment for podcasting, especially. Very stormy in Chicago, so if we lose power, maybe this podcast doesn't work, and that would be quite a shame because we have a great show in store for everyone today.
We have a full slate. We've said we need to do a podcast 4 separate times. I think we're just going to have to buckle down, crank it out all in this one. One mega podcast.
And I will say, we did record an intro to this podcast several weeks ago. With that being said, I was highly intoxicated, and I do not think it would be wise to include that.
I don't even remember that. Don't even remember that.
We were sitting in your car because it was cold.
Oh, jeez, Louise, you're right.
Wabash in Chicago or something at midnight, and I had just drinking a cup of tequila, and it was not the best podcast to post.
Yeah, well, why don't we? You want to touch on that now, and then we'll circle back because you already teased it.
Let's do a non-linear podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna bounce around.
We had quite an experience on Barstool.
So why was I in Chicago with you at a random alley under a bridge in Chicago, drinking while you were three tequila shots
straight
deep?
Tequila. So JD texts me like with 1 day notice, and he's like, "Barstool Handball Chicago tomorrow, Lakeshore Drive Gym, be there reffing." And as a lot of our longtime listeners know, I'm one of the best refs in America, which we'll touch on in our Macedonia segment.
You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, everyone.
I'm the Josh Forstoffel of refs, is what a lot of people say.
Josh, as an avid listener, might take some pain for that.
He's the LeBron of handball. I'm the Josh of refs. It's only fair. So anyway, so we have this Barstool event, and it is Barstool Pro versus Joe's. And it's the Barstool guys, up to 20 personalities from their Chicago office, varied personalities, against what they were advertising as the U.S. national men's handball team. And what I sort of expected to be the U.S. men's national handball team, just knowing the pull that JD has. And obviously, like, Coach Ortega wasn't going to send his, like, starters out. But I thought, like, maybe we'd get some bench guys. Maybe we'd get some really good squad. And, JD, who did we get for Barstool Pro versus Joe's?
All right, so, the game plan from talking with Mark was that the national team guys were going to be flying into Chicago. They would land. I talked with Mark, talked with some other people. They said, hey, we're going to have national team guys fly in. They'll kind of use that Barstool time as their warm-up, kind of a walkthrough practice, so to speak. I was talking to Ty Reed. Ty obviously has, some tie to Barstool as well, former Alabama football player. I was like, perfect. This is exactly what they want to hear. And so then Mark's like, well, I got him and I got, some other guys from our Florida program. And I was like, okay, like, I've never met them. They're all, guys that played various sports. The one guy, former pro soccer player. One guy was former college baseball. One guy was former college basketball. So I was like, okay. And then they were supposed to have one of the guys from the beach national team. And I was like, all right. And there were supposed to be a couple other people. So they don't let Ty come. Ty doesn't come. I don't know what the
with that said, if Ty comes, it's a different event. Ty would
completely
have done things on that court that would not have been okay to watch.
So we only get 3 of the Florida guys. We don't get Jacob from the beach team. And so Coach Derek Heath was planning to just watch. But because we didn't have anybody else, I made him play. So we had Derek Heath, the 96 Olympian. We had Daniel Eggert, who's the assistant coach and has been retired from handball for probably like 7 years now after playing in the Danish league and in the German second league. Who
was the best player there, just by resume and skill?
Yeah, and Peter Stromberg, Joey Stromberg's cousin, who's also an assistant coach for the men's national team, who's been retired. He plays like casual handball in Sweden, but he, I think, played second league at his peak. And then you were the referee alongside Ross Minor.
A great duo. In a shirt that was given to me by JD that was a adult medium, just for anyone that watched and was confused by my physique.
had to really sell the role. So for those that didn't tune in, you can go over to Barstool After Dark's YouTube page, watch the stream, comment on roast me, roast Max, whatever you want to do.
The YouTube comments are not very kind to us.
It was bad.
JD, they were called, what was it, the Handball Freak or something like that?
Handball Hardos. That's us.
Handball Hardo. Yeah, JD was the Handball Hardo. And I was the horrible ref. I was also called the ugly ref on the Barstool Reddit. But that's okay.
I think they, were most upset about you offering to take somebody back to your apartment.
It is not what happened. I told the Mantis guy that I would fight him outside because they told us to ham it up a bit. And, obviously I was like, dude, meet me outside. We'll fight you outside. And he was like, meet you outside? What are you going to do? Take me home? And I was like, I didn't say that. I said I would fight you. There's a very large...
Take you out for a nice seafood dinner and never call you again.
But me saying that did not make the audio because I didn't have a mic, which was a great decision by everyone involved. Especially me for my own selfish personal nature to not have a mic. Ross was mic'd up and I don't think he said a word all night.
It was tough, man. It was a tough stream. There was a lot of voices going on because they had Tate mic'd up. They had Spider mic'd up. They had Ross mic'd up. I had a mic. So there's 5 different people talking at any given time. But for what it's worth, the game plan was to start 5-on-5 and then have what was it? Then or they were going to start. No, excuse me. They wanted to start 5-on-1. So they wanted to have 5 of the U.S. guys and then 1 Barstool person, and we did that, and it was just terrible to watch.
It was we not said, interesting whatsoever. This,
we're going to go right to 5-on-5. So we went 5-on-5, and I had said from the beginning of the stream that I was like, when we get down to 3 or 4 guys left, that's when I think we'll probably lose, just from a
logistical standpoint. They had 20 people. Yeah.
So the game plan was, we start 5-on-5, and then they gain a player until they get to 15, and then we would lose a player after that. We were playing 5-minute games, or first to 5. No, it was just first to 5. First to 5.
Yeah.
And so games go on. We're cruising right along. Derek Heath, he's putting up a show, doing some, pretty cool goals.
He was just pulling out all the moves at Piv, which is what you want to see.
We played on a singular basketball court, so it was a small court.
No wing space whatsoever.
Not really any wing space. We did play with Stickum, which didn't really. I was kind of shocked. It did not play as big a factor as I was thinking it would. I think the Barstool guys figured it out, so shout out to them.
Yeah. Better than the OSU guys.
The only other facility issue we had, which I was a little bit worried about, was the Barstool guys missed the goal a good bit, and they were able to, on one of their shots, take out a ceiling tile, completely destroyed it. But either way, game goes on. I think we got down to 2 guys, so I say that was pretty impressive, and I think we could have gone further. Daniel and Petter voted to pull Cyrus the goalie in favor to have a 3rd guy, and that just left empty net, and so that's how things ended, which was a little disappointing, but still. So anyways, so why you got the tequila shots? We had a great time with Barstool guys, whatever, but they literally, as soon as it ended, they were all out of there.
Gone.
And then we had, so the whole reason the men's national team was in town, as well as a lot of people, was that we were hosting the NACHC championship event, which qualified a team for the World Championships in January in Germany. So that was taking place in Quad Cities, Iowa, which is about 2 hours from Chicago. So we still had to get all these guys over to Chicago because they were going to be there training with the men's team, and the coaches obviously had to be there, and there was going to be games, and then the Open Championship, Elite Championship, Women's Championship were all going to be that following weekend. So there's communication throughout the day because logistically I drove up to Chicago with my car, went to rent a truck in some suburb to pick up the goals at some high school.
Not suburb, the city of Chicago, on Clybourne, for those who know Chicago. Not suburb whatsoever.
So
it's where I live.
It was far away.
25
And
minutes.
to me, well, whatever, big city life, you know. Get this truck. I go to the high school. I'm freaking out because it's like 4 o'clock, and I just figured school would be closed. And the school, nobody knows about the handball goals. They're like, oh, I think they're down here, and they were like buried under like a pile of junk. And I was like, oh, geez, Louise. And these, I kid you not, I've moved handball goals my whole half my life literally. These were the heaviest handball goals I've ever
These
touched.
were so insanely heavy. I loaded them in. I helped load them into the U-Haul. Like these
It
were
was
not.
it was a
normal.
problem. So I was trying to load these into the truck by myself. I eventually got the athletic trainer at the high school to come help me. It was an old ordeal. Pull up to this Lakeshore Drive Fitness. Shout out our boy who runs
Like
the
Chris or
facility.
something.
We'll get to him. We'll get to him. And it was then I had to find a place to parallel park a 16-foot box truck in the middle of downtown Chicago. So that was it was a whole ordeal. And I was wearing a full suit. It was just tough. So anyways, I had no plans to get these goals back to Iowa because I had to come back for work because I'm in the middle of a big project. So I was like, any one of these guys that's on the national team is going to drive this truck back.
Yeah.
Well,
as you would
Daniel,
expect.
Coach Eggert's there with his family, and our good friend Kurt Schaefer was playing logistics manager as a former logistics manager for a trucking company. You'd think logistics would be something that he would know quite well. So sounds like
that's your issue there, JD.
there was a gap in communication with him and the other logistics manager, Ruben Ortega, on who would be.
I blame that solely on Kurt. Ruben is an upstanding citizen.
Shout out Ruben, our main man for sponsorship for the Columbus Armada. So there was a gap in communication on how the Eggerts were going to get back because they were under the impression that Ruben was going to be picking them up and bringing them back. Well, Ruben never showed, and now we get done packing up everything for the stream at, what was it, like 10:30 we're done? I think it was 10:30.
10:30, 10:45 when we had like finally.
And so we're
started
sitting
finishing
there. All the Barstool guys have left, and these guys have Daniel's got 3 kids, his wife.
There's
they're
3 Danish
tired.
children sitting with us.
Yeah, and they are jet lagged. I mean, it was a bad scene.
And there's cold pizza, and that's it.
Yeah. So shout out to our boy who runs the facility. He let us stay there and hang out with him. Check out the facility. They just had a big fire, they had fire and some water damage.
Really
and
bad fire. Yeah.
Then he gave Max a whole bunch of liquor.
He
Max
poured,
up.
he poured a glass of wine for the coach's wife who didn't want a glass of wine. So I was like, you know what? It's been a long day. Take a glass, and then he's like, come with me. And I go with him to the liquor cabinet. He just pulls out a big old bottle of juice. It just fills up very large cups of tequila.
I thought it was a cup of water when you handed it to me.
JD said take a sip, and it's just straight tequila. And the plan was for JD to come to my house, which at the time was like 40 minutes west. So 40 minutes in the wrong direction, to be fair. But then at that point, we're there for an hour waiting for Kurt. I'm drinking straight tequila out of a sippy cup.
We find out this guy's Macedonian, so we had just got back from Macedonia, so we're bonding with him.
This is like a week after we get back from Macedonia too. Like this is an exciting time in our lives.
Yeah, and so I'm just wired. I mean, Kurt eventually shows up at freaking 11:45, I think it was, and
something ridiculous.
At that point, I'm like, if I drive an hour to Max's and then I got to go back to Columbus, I'm like, I'm just going to drive home. So I'm wired. I just drove straight back, got home at 5:45 in the morning, took an hour nap, went to work. And so that was our Barstool time. So, yeah.
And we were made famous by the people on the internet who hate us, which is not a new thing to either of us. So,
but circle back on the Macedonia. Let's go finish the recap on our Macedonia trip.
You've met us at a very Balkan time in our life. Because we had two of our best ever episodes. We got reposted by Joe Weisenthal, a very famous American journalist who got us a lot of clicks. Shout out to the Odd Lots podcast on Bloomberg and Joe. but we never finished with Macedonia. I think you could correct me if you disagree, JD. I think the trip started out here, and we had some slippage.
Yeah, I mean, the Pellister Vardar game was peak, and the problem was that we just had so much potential. And I think where we ended the last episode was, our Greece trip, and so we come back from Greece. It's now Wednesday of our trip. We're like, all right, we're gonna have another practice. We'll maybe get a game in. We had talked with one of the coaches and said, hey, you guys can come watch the first team practice. We're like, oh, sick. All right, cool. And then
that's where we recorded the episode, actually.
Yes. And then we were going to have a game later that evening. So find out, not going to have a practice. We're not going to watch first team practice because none of them there. But we walked the 45 minutes over to the stadium and did a photo shoot, did our prom pictures. It was pretty funny.
And our podcast. Well, we were
and our
sitting there
podcast while we were waiting for anybody to show
Yeah.
up. But then we went and played our game, and holy cow. It was against Jimmy's team. Shout out our boy Jimmy, who we are still trying to find a way to raise some funds to bring him over here for a short time.
Jimmy and Ekpeki will be joining each other in America as honorary citizens.
What a combo. Now would be the time for
Jimmy.
the World Cup. Macedonia and Nigeria are not competing, so probably wouldn't make sense for them to appear. But this team, like I told them at the beginning, and this was the older of the teams that we played. I think this was the U18.
And I think the issue was, there were a lot of issues. I think one of the issues was we had told the guys that it was not the older team.
And I don't think that was. I think there's a couple issues. Issue one.
There was like 15 issues here.
All right. Well, issue one, there wasn't a ref, and so Max refed.
I tried to get the other coach to ref. I offered him the whistle. I said, "Do you want to ref?" And then he was like, "No, you're the guest here." I should have pushed back. This could have been avoided in part by that pushback.
And let's be clear for everybody else. Max is a fine. He gets the job done. But when you have to ref against real handball players.
Oh, we got a
breaking news.
Thunderstorm warning. Whatever.
Breaking news from Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
If Max's house collapses midstream, this will be an all-time episode.
Now that I own, I actually do not want any damage to the house. Let's keep it nice.
Knock on wood. Anyways, so I had told the coach after the first couple of possessions, they were just kind of like dicking around, not like trying, and like all our guys were trying, and like
very obviously dicking around.
It was like not fun, and so I was like, hey, I want you guys to like show them real handball and go hard. And then I think they I don't know, I might have taken it a little too far.
Could have been a lost in translation moment. Maybe go hard in English means like to us, you're like play some real handball, like take it a little seriously. They took it as we were Vardar.
It was bad. Like Tom and the one guy almost got into a fight. And I think you being able to control the game, I think is where
that
I was
on
going.
me. And I apologized to Tom after. I was like, Tom, look, I'm sorry. I let that get out of hand. I kind of thought it would fizzle out, and obviously, like, that was a wrong thought. I thought the guy would realize, like, yeah, you've roughed around the, like, American a little bit. And Tom's a big guy. He's
6'3".
Yeah, like he can. I thought like he could fend for himself a bit more than he could, and that's not anything against him. Like this, he was up against a 6'3", very jacked.
Yeah, this guy was
maybe 6'4", jacked Macedonia guy, and I absolutely should have called that stricter, like 100%. Good life lesson.
We got completely demolished.
Manhandled, destroyed.
It was demoralizing.
It wasn't one of those beatdowns that was fun. Like when we were in Denmark all those years ago and we got beat down. The first one was fun, the second one wasn't. And I think that's a recurring theme. It's like the first time you get your ass kicked by a European team, you're like, you know what? That's kind of fun. We learned something the second time, you're like, I have seen this game before.
Yeah, and I think then, like, the coach, I told him, I was like, can we do, like, some practice with you guys at the end? And so we were doing some drills, and, like, half the guys were like,
I did not think morale was very high during the practice drills.
It was bad. It was bad. So then the next day, we make our way to Skopje, and we stopped by Ohrid, which was
Beautiful
a
city.
beautiful lake town. I mean, you want to talk about a night and day difference from the whole rest
Oh
of
my
Macedonia.
god.
Like this,
And not that Macedonia isn't very pretty in parts, but Ohrid is like a legitimate like tier one lake destination of any lake I've been to. Like it was crystal clear water, beautiful.
yeah.
I,
Streets were
like
clean, food was
I
good.
would vacation there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Alex, and I think that's no
We
offense to Macedonia, but
yeah. We picked up some people, some other high school kids, and they were walking around being our tour guides, and they were telling us. I was like asking them like, "Hey, do people like go fishing and boating out there?" And they're like, "Oh, no." I was like, "You don't like go take some rakia out on the water?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "We got to teach you how it's done out here, man. Like, you guys are missing out on fun
they're looking at
times."
you like an alien, like
Yeah,
yeah, no,
like
we
what is
don't.
this guy
What do
talking
you?
about? But yeah, a lot of cool forts. We did a good hike. Some nice ocean or lakefront
Yeah,
restaurants and whatnot. So, bus driver was very, let's get this show on the road. So, he got us back up to Skopje at our hotel. There was a lot of, I would say, debate on which hotel to stay at, and we stayed at the nicer of the two hotels we were going over, and it was a little bit further away, but it had this epic, in-house sauna and spa, and we made good use of it. A lot of guys got massages. It was a good time. So
I think I was the only guy on the team not to go, but I'm not a spa guy. I had a great night. Everyone was at the spa. Some guys went to the casino. I went
the
bar hopping by
Serbian
myself.
casino that took their blood sample, retina scan, fingerprint scans. Their lives are
Yeah,
over.
that data is gone. I went
Yep.
bar hopping by myself. I went to a British pub for dinner. I was the only person in the whole restaurant. It was very weird. Then I went to like 4 different bars just trying to find a bar that didn't have smoking inside. I'm not a big smoke guy. Unfortunately,
Yep.
did not find a bar without smoking inside. But
It is Macedonia. So
I had a good night in Skopje. Like that city knows how to have fun.
yeah, I would say continuing with our letdowns, Alden had told us we were all taking the bus to Matka Canyon, and the bus where we were supposed to pick up, it was closed, and we actually were supposed to pick it up right by our hotel. So we walked like an hour and a half for nothing. So that was tough. Sorry, Alden. But we made it to Maca Canyon. Cool spot again. Again, a summer spot. A lot of cool kayaking you can do out there. Some of the guys hiked up to the top of the mountain. One of the guys almost slipped and fell off the mountain, so we're glad that didn't happen. But yeah, I'd say we covered a large majority of the country as well as Greece.
Yeah,
But the only other note,
large amount of grease.
only other final note I have on that old trip was the return journey that we had. A couple guys get the full pat down experience.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, because you stayed at the VIP lounge. Max was kind enough to
Yeah,
let me experience the lounge life. Holy cow, the Istanbul lounge.
The nicest
Yeah.
lounge I've ever been in. If you're ever in Istanbul, you gotta spring up for the money. If you don't have a card, you need to be in that lounge.
I mean, it was a full spread of all these different things, different drinks, snacks. But I mean, desserts, the whole 9 yards. I feasted, and then the guys were texting me like, "Hey, you got to come back right now. They're boarding," and I'm like, "God bless." So, scarf down my food, get back, and I see Gavin had his like shirt off. He had all of his bags completely unpacked. Like he had his backpack and his carry on, and they're completely emptied. And I'm like, what is happening here? And I come to find out that he had been basically denied entry. They did a full pat down on him, emptied out all of his bags, and then it was a whole questioning process. Whatever, they let him in. And then he goes to the bathroom and he forgets his passport when he goes to the bathroom because he left it at his bag. And they're like, "We cannot let you in." He's like, "I've already been in here. Like all my stuff's right there." And then Grayson just threw him his passport over the wall, and we worked out. But yeah, he and Max Cobbler got hosed on
Funny
that
crew
one.
to get roughed up.
Those Liberty boys, But yeah, otherwise that was it for the most part. To your point, that trip started out way up here with the potential, and we just kind of cruised to a very just regular experience. So it was good.
I don't think it was a bad trip by any means. I think it was some good lessons for us going forward.
The potential. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't
high.
say this enough that like if you tell me that this is going to happen, I'm going to believe you that it's going to happen. And then when it doesn't
I think
happen,
we learned a very Balkan lesson, which is that things can happen, but they require money changing hands to a significant amount, of which we could have greased the wheels more. Maybe
I don't
$100
know.
changes hands, and the first team's at that practice. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we're just fed false information, but it is what it is. Had a good time. Thank you to everybody that made that one possible. But yeah, I think the next
Where are we going
next
next?
stop,
I've heard the
next stop,
developed world is a big one.
Portugal is
We
that's the next
we
spot.
will be there.
I'm looking at the map. Shout out our boy Carlos. He's got a house there. So that's
Luke Bolte,
that's
former Portuguese
former Porto player. Yeah.
person, yeah.
Fun fact here: a common friend of ours, Mark Wright, will be moving to Portugal to
I did know
remove
that.
himself from Trump's reign. So,
You
not
know
to
what?
get
Good for him.
political,
I
but,
support that. JD,
you hear every 4 years people saying, "Hey, f this president, I'm leaving the country,"
respect for
and
him
no one
actually
ever
doing it.
does it.
No one
ever
no
does it.
one.
And Mark's actually putting his money where his mouth is, and I commend it. So he will be starting up the Javier Garcia Cuesta Handball Academy in Portugal. We are working with the Portuguese Handball Federation to broadcast their games in America in English.
Oh, we will be
There's a-
tuned in.
There's a lot going on there. So
Are you being serious?
yeah, I've talked to him quite a bit about this. So
We
Stay
might
tuned.
have to go to the Javier Cuesta Handball Academy.
yeah, I mean that's the game plan.
R.I.P.
So,
Yeah, I mean he was a very nice man when I met him.
I think realistically, like the game plan for America is to get, I think a couple clubs from every major country to kind of be like the American teams that American fans will cheer for and things like that. So obviously, right now Denmark, our team is Sonderjyske because of our ties to Sonderberg.
And I think if you ask a lot of Americans who our handball team in Denmark is, almost all of them would know that. Yeah.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Volendam is our team in the Netherlands. That's very well known.
I'm not gonna say that this Danish team has any ties to America, but Volendam, Dormagen of Germany's second league.
Yes, with the Hoyters. Yeah, big fans of theirs.
So, yeah,
I think FC Barcelona might be the biggest one in America currently.
if we could pull that off, we'd be
No, I'm just saying that most people would know FC Barcelona.
Correct.
Because they're FC
PSG.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
PSG. Yeah.
So, speaking of knowing people, we're going to talk about some college nationals as we continue in on our recap here of the last few months. Max, did you watch any college nationals?
I did. I watched a couple games. I watched Johns Hopkins get their first ever program victory over Ohio State Gray. And what was really, I very famously have a house divided flag, a half Hopkins, half Ohio State flag. And it put that flag to the test. That was a tough game.
For context for everybody, let's just walk through what this team was comprised of, who coached it, who paid for the team.
The team was 60% Hopkins, 40%, 30% Colorado State, 5% Colorado Boulder. It was funded by me.
There
and
was
John
some Denver
No, there was a
University.
Denver guy. There was Kurt involved. Me and John Ryan worked together to help make the team a reality. And me and John Ryan, good friends, good collaborators. Not actually a joke. Like I think it made us closer because we both want all the guys to play handball because neither team was going to go, and we made it happen. Did they perform well? I think for their standards they did, and I'm proud of them. And I watched some of them. They got me a bottle of liqueur from somewhere, which I greatly appreciated. Brazilian liqueur looks delicious. Haven't had any yet. That will change, maybe tonight. Who knows? But. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, it's just a testament to the fact that there are probably 5 people in this country who care to the extent we do about college handball, and JD, me, and you are 2 of them, and John Ryan's another, and Kurt's another, and that might be it.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. That game we did, it was, I'll touch on the whole weekend because
Yeah, please.
that game was one of the question marks because it basically ended up being OSU Gray and the Johns Hopkins CSU combo team as a aggregate game for ninth place.
I would not have played that. I would have gone home.
So we played 2 games Sunday morning.
It's
As
just a really funny thing to do. Like, yeah, let's play 2
Yep.
games for the aggregate ninth place. Why not?
and we had, I think injuries and whatever else, but yeah, it was an interesting way to have the tournament kind of unfold for those 2 teams. I think to your point, I think it was real. I was happy to see them be so excited about their first win. I was disappointed in my guys for letting that happen because they were definitely the better team, as you saw in the second
They were
game.
definitely the better. And then the second game, they won by like 25.
It was like,
I don't know what happened.
whatever.
Just
They
quite
were
frankly.
not awake and just doing dumb stuff.
We've
but
been there before.
yeah, Sunday morning games that don't matter.
Yeah.
But backing up to the start of the weekend, we have our. I do like having the D1, D2. I think it makes games mean a lot more.
Yeah. You don't get the blowouts that we used to get.
Yeah, and I think the other piece is like it kind of controls, the narrative a little bit differently. Not saying that, like, for instance, Case Western, who won D2, spoiler here for the stories, but do I think that they deserve to play against some of the teams of D1? No, because Case and, for instance, Ohio State Scarlet and Pitt routinely play, and those aren't
We know how those games go,
particularly
yeah.
competitive, but like,
But I think it's fun to have another option for schools
Yeah.
that clearly have less talent and less funding and things like that.
And so anyway, the problem with the D2 situation was that we had, what was it? We had 10 teams. So it was like, how do you go about making this, you could have 2 groups of 5, you could have 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 4. You gotta, whatever you want to do. So we did instead a bracket with some, loser play, continue kind of thing. So depending on, where you fell in the ranking, that's how things unfolded for you. Now, the issue with that, and we will never be able to appropriately define it, is that we don't have like mid-season rankings, and roster control is a big problem. So when you put the Carolina Tar Heels team as I think they were like the 6th seed maybe, and there's a guy on their team that I did not talk to Aaron or anybody, but or Josh, but there's a guy on their team, easily could be playing for their first team. He was a dog, and I'm just like, because we played them in the Gray team played them in their first game, and or maybe they were the 3 seed and we were I don't know. Either way, I was like, this guy's kind of on a different level, and you went back and you look at the scores of their games, like they were losing against bad teams and barely beating even worse teams. And you're just like, okay, and then they come out and they just do something like that, and you're like, oh, they got a guy that's a 25-year-old grad student, former college baseball player, at NC State playing for them. They got a guy that played goalie in Brazil that goes to NC State. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, you got 3 guys on your team from NC State. What are we doing to start a team at NC State? Let's have that conversation. And so, heck, I have my brother-in-law's future brother-in-law. He's a sophomore at NC State, and I was like, hey, why don't you come play for our great team? And so I spent the whole weekend talking to him. Get to why he only played in 1 game with us, which was frustrating because of the schedule situation, which I will touch on here once I'm done ranting about the format. He was talking to his friends, so there's a campaign to get a team over there at NC State. So we'll hopefully see something in the fall from the Wolfpack. But it's just hard to have a ranked bracket like that if we don't know what teams are actually good and bad. So I commend Case Western. I love those guys. They, Yusuf and Titus and Edmund and the whole crew They fought hard. They had one sub, and they pulled off a championship to keep the D2 national title in the hands of the Trailblazer Conference for the third year in a row. All D2 handball championships for all of time are controlled by the Trailblazer Conference.
As it should be. And I will say, there used to be college handball rankings that we took seriously and would have filled in that void that we
100%.
haven't. And we didn't have to stop them. I think the problem with the college handball rankings is they're impossible when, like, conference
You have to
plays
literally know
exists.
every player. Because, like,
Yeah.
if one player shifts from a first team to a second team or a second team to a first team, that throws off the entire dynamic of that team. So, it's hard
Yeah,
to,
and
you have
it's
to
impossible
know.
when, like, no one's playing Carolina all year. So we don't know how to, outside of, like, Blue Cup, we don't know how to rank Carolina. You don't know how to rank Air Force, who doesn't play a lot. Like, I don't know how to rank San Jose Spartans. I think it got to the point where, like, there is no one in the country who invests the amount of time needed watching this, even any of us, to make rankings worthwhile.
I
Unfortunately.
mean, I think, like, me and John can probably
Yeah,
talk
and I
about.
think I'll push you guys to do that next season. I think it'd be good just for the sport to have, like, we can put out those, like, dodgeball style flyers again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's at least something to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, so backing up to the beginning of the weekend, we're driving there. Our first game's at, like, I think 6 or something, 5:45, and it's like 3 o'clock, and we're coming into Raleigh, and we're like 45 minutes out, and one of the guys in the back, and I got 8 guys in the van, and one of the guys is like, "Hey, JD, I think we just saw handball goals back there on the side of the road," and I'm like, "Stop it," and like. We're in pretty much like, I'm in the far left lane. We're in bumper to bumper traffic. We're not moving. And I like look in my rearview mirror and I'm like, sure enough, I see the red and white stripes and I'm like, God dang it. And so I'm like, do I pull over? What are we going to, I was like, how? How? And I'm like, surely no. Like, the show will go on. I'm not going to do anything. So we get to the gym and I find Mike and I see them frantically building a set of goals and I'm like, this is not good. Like, how did we get to this tournament with games that have already supposed to have started and we're still taping the lines on the floor, we're still building a set of goals. And I can tell you how, because this is what happens every time. Because you get people that aren't used to hosting a tournament, and you're hosting it at a site that you've never hosted at before, so there's always going to be
every
problems.
time.
So you just have to plan more in advance for these kind of things. And I just question, Eddie's decision to transport the goals during rush hour the day of the event. It's what it is. So I'm told by the Carolina folks, by Mike, AAA's on their way. They had a flat tire. No problem. He'll be here in 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. Well, like an hour goes by because like I'm teaching the one guy how to play because he, never played before, and then I'm helping fix the court on the other court because Kurt's interns. If you stood at it, the 6 on one side had about 2 feet for the wing, and the other side had about 8 feet, and I counted out the 6, and it was 6 meters all the way around, and it was 20. It didn't. I was like, I don't know how you guys. I don't. It's impressive.
Great showing by the Schaefer interns, 2026.
So we got that fixed, and whatever. It might have been 42 meters long, but nobody cares about that. So I tell Mike now, I'm like, dude, it's been like an hour and a half. Like, I'm just gonna take my van. I'm gonna go get these guys, and this other guy's like, I got a truck. I'm like, fine. So me and this guy, they called him cinch. No, what do you call that? It's like a rodeo term.
Winch.
Hold win. Yeah,
I don't know rodeo. We're not the two guys for the rodeo.
Dang it,
show.
cinch maybe. I don't know.
Cinch is a rodeo. I think it's when you're cinching the rodeo wire. I don't know.
I think they call him cinch, but he was he played baseball in college. He's the guy I was talking about. Cool, very cool dude. So I get in his truck. We get like 15, 20 minutes. Maybe we don't even get that far. We get like 10 minutes out of the parking garage, and they call him like, "Oh, he's on his way back."
Of course.
So we come back. And at this point, we have one functioning court because there's only one set of goals there. The other two sets were on the truck. So basically, the whole day is like off. Like on two of the courts is completely off, and then everything shifted off by like 3 hours. So we were only able to get like one game in, and then on one of the courts they got like half of a game, and they like made it abridged time. Like we played like 20-minute halves or something. Like for our game, for the Scarlet game, it didn't matter. We played Carolina. We just I don't know. We weren't there. Which again, like it's on me. I'm focused on fixing problems with the tournament and not my team, but. Well,
I mean, I don't think there's no coaching.
We weren't.
No.
We weren't there. So get it all figured out. Redo the whole schedule because Mike had a nightmare to try to figure that all out. Given the fact that we only had a set amount of time, we had to get everybody out of there on Sunday by a certain time. So we clean up all that mess. I have our center back Noah. He's been playing for us for 4 years. Plays with Rec Specs. His first year, we played at Tiffin. He did not have Rec Specs. Or the Rec Specs he had, maybe he didn't. Yeah, I don't think he had Rec Specs his freshman year. And the one ref said, you can't play with your glasses. And so he literally played against West Point Black with OSU Gray, blind. It was as bad as you would imagine it to be. And so here we are, had never had an incident up until this game against West Point Gold in the morning, and they tell him, like, the game's already started, and they're like, oh, no, he can't play with those Rec Specs. I was like, we've literally had you as a ref, like, we've played, like, he already played yesterday, and they wouldn't let him play. So we had to basically play man down without our center back, and it was...
Yeah, I mean, that's insane.
Also tough game for us there.
So, you guys were up at half on that one. You were up by like 6 goals at one point.
I don't know. I watched.
Yeah,
little things. More or less, finish up the whole tournament though from a elite standpoint. Teams gave West Point Black some scares, but at the end of the day, they just were too much to handle. I think Air Force was beating them in the final for a large majority of the game, and then the next time I looked at the score, it was West Point Black won by like 10 or something. Yep.
If Carolina's in the final instead of Air Force, do you think they win?
I don't think so. Carolina played Pitt in the third place game, and Park McCook, the savior of Carolina handball, currently taking the reins from Aaron Ham, decided it was a. Let's backtrack here for him. He in the semifinal they played Air Force, and I didn't watch this, but I believe my understanding is that they had a 7-meter. He was going to take a 7-meter to tie the game. I think it was either tie. It had to be tie. It had a 7-meter to tie the game. And Air Force brings in their backup goalie to save the set to save the 7.
Yeah,
saves the 7. Parkman gets the rebound, saves it again. So double save to win the game.
I watched it.
It's like 5 seconds left. Parkman hit an East Bay against us in a fast break. But anyway, so they're playing Pitt, and we're watching the end of this game, and back and forth game. Pitt was in control for a large majority, and then Carolina slowly starts to come back at the end, and it's like a tie game, and they, for whatever reason, they call timeout. There's like, I don't know, like there's 10 seconds left or something. I don't know how many times they called with timeout, but they bring the ball down, and the play they decided to run was a Kempa from the wing to the freshman, the Macedonian freshman, Lucas Pasevsky. I was just blown away that was the play call, and it worked. There was no time left on the clock, and that was game. And where things got a little heated, I would say, was you had all of the Trailblazer teams were in the corner of the gym where the goal was scored, cheering on Pitt as you would for any other Big Ten team.
Conference, except one, but yeah.
Yeah, and they score that goal, and I kid you not, the entire benches, the entire Carolina fan base just came over, and it was just in the face of everybody in our area, middle fingers up, screaming, yelling, whatever.
Yeah.
Some heated. I was prepared for a fight to break out. I was actually, I think, commentating, or I was on the score sheets or something. I forget. Because I was prepared to step up to like go and
Would not be
squash
your
the
first
situation.
bench clearing brawl against Carolina.
No.
Oh no, it was Illinois State at BFC 2016. I believe.
Nope. It was Carolina.
It was Carolina. Oh yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. Yep.
It was the Miles Bacon fight. Yeah, the very famously Bacon showdown.
So anyways, so Carolina, they won that game against Pitt, but then Case played Carolina Tar Heels in the championship for D2, and Case they just controlled that game up until the very end, and I don't know what the final score was, but they just took care of business. Yosef even was close to getting a red card, or he might have got a red card at the end. I can't remember. They still found a way to win. So,
good for them, man.
Spartans. There's a team that didn't exist 5 years ago and now has a national championship to their name. So, waiting for the Sickos committee to get the spring sports national championships post out there. It was a wild college nationals. They had 3 courts, like literally like in a, 2 parallel going this way and 1 perpendicular along the back. Just a divider in between here and like a half wall. So there was just whistle noises everywhere. It was...
I cannot play with extra whistle noises.
It was tough.
It drives me crazy.
It was just the noise.
Yeah.
If one team's cheering or whatever it is, it was a loud environment. So... very cool campus. They had a great outdoor workout facility, so shout out NC State. Even the rec center there was very, very nice. The football players were playing basketball there, and that was quite the sight to see because you don't see that at Ohio State. They very rarely get out.
They used
wild.
to like 15 years ago they would, but they're not seen anymore. They're too valuable.
But yeah, so that was college nationals in a nutshell. So we'll see what happens for next year. I don't know what's in store, but I can tell you, I sure hope we don't have any issues with goals being lost or stuck on the side of the road. So
we probably will. Just mathematically speaking, the odds are not in our favor. Nothing
Correct.
ever goes good at college nationals. That is, I've been in 2 car wrecks. I speak for myself.
Yeah, true. Okay, and speaking of the other nationals, as well as the NACHC, so we'll go back to Iowa now in our non-sequential podcast here. So, Max, you did not come out to Quad Cities, Iowa, because you were moving into your fine new condominium.
We were actually in Boston for my cousin's bat mitzvah.
Oh, that's right.
Which was wonderful. I wish I'd been because it really is close to here, and I do regret it. With that said, I didn't watch a single second of the weekend. So
okay, well, I'll fill you in here. We had everything was at the TBK Sports Complex in Bettendorf, Iowa.
TBK. You know who's from Bettendorf?
I can't name a single person.
DJ Carton, Ohio State point guard for 1 semester in
the greatest that ever was.
19, yeah, who's currently in the NBA, and he's pretty good in the NBA.
That's a lie.
No, I'm telling. Let me look it up.
There's no way.
Sorry, this is bad podcasting, but
for
absolutely
those of you that don't know, this guy was like the next thing since sliced bread, and then like had mental. Didn't he have like a mental health issue?
That's what they said. I'm not gonna comment.
Who's the other dude?
Okay,
Michi
he wasn't in the league this year. He averaged 0.8 points for Toronto in 2025. That's pretty recent.
I thought I heard you say elite. Yeah, he said elite, so 0.8 everybody.
I said elite, so that's on me. He was sub-elite, but NBA's elite. Yeah, anyway, from Bettendorf. Sorry to steal a little thunder there, JD.
But shout out TBK. I mean, this place was epic. We had 4 full-size handball courts. It has 2 bowling alleys. It has a hitting arena. It has 2 full-size soccer fields. It has, I don't know if there's a movie theater. It's got 2 bars in it. it was insane. Arcade. There's a Top Golf thing. I mean, it's whatever you want. Hey, they got it. But like I said, the men's NACHC championships were there. Canada, Greenland, USA, Mexico. USA brought in all the big guns. Greenland brought in the big guns. And that's
Big
pretty much
Greenland
what it
guns,
came
yeah.
down to. Greenland's got solid players, but the U.S., it was not close for any of their games. They took care of business.
I mean, that's great to see. That is absolutely what we need to be seeing going forward. And I think that some people that were saying things about Coach Ortega, we just got to spawn the World Championship. I think we're going to do good at the World Championship. We're not going to win it, but
We're going to touch on that here right now. We'll touch on that. So, Max,
I think if you're a person who hated on the Ortega hire, who did not see the vision and the values, you're looking in the mirror right now and you're looking stupid. There is egg on your face. We just went 3-0 against two good teams and one okay team. And we're recharged heading into the World Championships. Like, we clearly have something going for us, and we're clearly going to show the world.
Max, as you hype up Coach Ortega, tell
Great
me,
guy.
name one team that they will be playing at the World Championship in their group.
Denmark.
Okay.
I did actually look at the
What
groups.
a pool. What a pool. Okay, so
And I think a lot of people are saying it's the pool of death. And I think it is for
pretty
Denmark.
bad. Okay.
For Denmark, yeah. I think they're going to be all borging their way back to Aalborg.
All
In many-
Borg
in
their
many
way
senses.
back to Aalborg. Do you know where they're going to be playing?
That
We've
escapes
been
me.
there. We've been there.
Is it in Norway?
It starts with a K, the city.
Okay, where have we been with a K?
All right, well, Max thinks
Knoxville,
of it.
Tennessee.
Well, Max thinks of it. It's not in Knoxville, Tennessee. The other teams in the group are Slovenia and Angola. So
Hey, look, does Angola still have the big guy?
that was the Congo. But
Okay.
Nope.
They are
Nope.
very close to each other in geographic area. Before anyone
Are they?
clips that,
Are they? I don't think they're
they're in the same continent.
middle of the continent, on the coast of the continent. Yeah. Okay.
Same continent.
All right. Either way, think of cities with a K. You've
Kosovo.
watched a handball game in this city.
The German town we went to wasn't that.
Yeah. It
was?
Germantown. Yeah.
Oh, it was.
They got a pretty good handball team.
I thought we went to
They're
Flensburg.
black and white.
Yeah, wasn't that Flensburg?
Nope.
Oh, it was.
Their mascot's a zebra.
Zebra. Is that not? I thought that was Flensburg, man.
Oh,
Okay.
man, this
Kiel.
is tough.
Kiel.
Q. He saves himself. THV Q.
Yeah. Been there.
So it'll be. I think it's a tough group. Slovenia's a solid team.
Can we beat Angola? Like, I think our realistic goal should be beating Angola. I've heard they're
think
good.
the goal has to be beat Angola and be very competitive and potentially beat Slovenia. I think that is the ceiling, and the floor is 0-3, maybe a
Would that
tie
be
against
a-
Angola.
Would
I'd put
that
us
be
at
our
4.
first ever knockout stage? I believe it would be.
No,
If we
Nope.
beat. No?
Nope. We went to knockout in what would that have been? 2023. We finished
Oh,
20th.
wasn't that the one where like
20th.
everyone went to the knockout?
Nope. Look it up.
whatever.
Look it up.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
while
yeah.
Max looks that up to confirm my USA team handball history. So yeah, they took care of business. It was pretty smooth sailing for them. I mean, they, like I said, had all of our heavy hitters, as well as a guy that's not been in the mix for a while, fellow Jewish guy, Benjamin Liberty, Max. So
I've
told
never
him-
heard that name in my life, actually.
I've put him on. I've always put him on our list for the Maccabi team.
Well, that's not happening.
Well,
But is his name actually Ben Liberty?
yeah.
Dude, that's an awesome
I
name.
connected him with Greeny, and then he and Greeny are talking about trying to get Greeny to go out to Jerusalem, Israel, to play with Tel Aviv. So we'll see how
Keep
that.
me far out of that, is what I'm saying.
So we'll see what happens for Greeny
Okay, so
there.
yeah, in 2023 we advanced to the main round because we beat
Right.
Morocco by 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but 3 out of the 4 teams in the group advanced. Like that's hardly a thing to celebrate there.
Is not the President's Cup.
But then it went to the. You're right. But it went. What I'm saying, I'm at the knockout stage.
Oh, we've never. Okay,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
And
I'd
no,
have
and
to
I
go.
misspoke because I forgot that if you won in the group, you didn't.
I take
you
that
went
back.
to the
I take that back.
next group. It's a confusing system.
Go back further in history because the 70s and 80s we might have had a team.
Maybe I'm not reading the
It
70s.
should be right there on the Wikipedia page. It should be right there.
Okay.
If you go to the Handball World Championships Wikipedia page, it'll show you all the years and all the teams where they finished, and you can just see as long as it's top 16.
Does Brian still handle all the Wikipedia stuff? Because he is on top of it.
I don't know. I haven't talked to Brian except for when he asked me about hosting a tryout, and then nobody said anything else after that. As well as our good friend Mr. Bolello told me that the
Good friend of the pod. Shout out Martin.
people from the USOPC would be reaching out to me about hosting an Olympic Day in Columbus because we are now an Olympic city thanks to soccer.
Yes, we are.
So
If that happens, I will be there, and I would expect to be celebrated as such.
okay, it's June 24th. So
I will not be there.
yeah, sorry.
I didn't realize that. Who is going to that? That is very soon.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't planned anything because nobody's reached out to me.
The USA has never finished better than 15th in the World Championship.
Okay, but 15th is better than 16th, which
It's
would be the
not.
knockout.
It's not much better.
It's
Maybe back
you
then.
said
it wasn't.
knockout. You said knockout. And
Maybe
knockout
back
would
then
be
it wasn't part of the
16.
knockout. I don't know how they
check
handled things.
click the link.
There's no hype right now.
Oh well, yeah.
It was 1964 in Czechoslovakia. I clicked the link and it just took me to Czechoslovakia's Wikipedia page.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, wait. Our goal differential in the first group was 25 and 66.
Hold on a sec.
We did not make the main round. There was only 16 teams, JD.
Okay.
Yeah, great stuff, man.
Shout out to Bunings. That would have been Peter's first
We
team
should-
he led.
Yeah, we should ask. So, West
Hansi.
Germany beat us pretty good. Yugoslavia beat us 22-3.
That's some classic
If you
handball right
watched
there.
the 1964 USA Yugoslavia game, please reach out to the pod. We have some questions about. Did they stream it? How I don't actually know if that was viewable.
It would have probably just been straight filmed on a tape. Like
If
it's
you
on
have a
tape
VCR
somewhere.
recording of the 1964 USA
Pre
Yugoslavia game,
VCR. Pre VCR.
is there a preview beta?
Dude, think about recording something in the
Floppy disk,
60s.
perhaps? I can't conceptualize 60s.
If you are a listener,
Video.
please comment now and tell us what they used to record media
And
in
if you watch the
1964.
64 USA Yugoslavia 22-3 match, I bet they felt a lot like our guys in Macedonia after that game.
100%.
And I bet there were some
It's the
Macedonians
same
on
with
the
the guys.
Yugoslav team.
100%. Yep.
Jimmy's grandpa played in that game, and he actually only scored 6.
Right. Jimmy's great grandpa.
Great grandpa.
Anyways, where I was going with that is, speaking of old footage, head on over to the USA Team Handball YouTube page. Our boy Kurt Schaefer has been uploading archives from the closet of USA Team Handball's office for old footage, including
It's actually pretty
the
cool.
1987 match against the USSR.
Speaking of, and if I may for a second, JD, I tried to get this going on Twitter the other day. USA Iran in Zagreb is going to be the beach handball match of the maybe millennium. Did you see the statement that Hinson put out about that game, which is saying lots
No,
of
I don't.
he said
Did he really?
geopolitical intrigue. Yeah,
He did not.
he did in the press release. It was
Dr.
tune in-
Michael Hinson.
Tune in for geopolitical intrigue. We bobbed them yesterday. Like
did we
genuinely
really?
yesterday we did, and we are playing them in beach handball in 2 weeks in Zagreb. I would love to go to that. I also tweeted out if any sports media want to send me to Zagreb, I will be on a flight. Like I will
So
work very very cheaply.
I googled Hinson, Iran, and the AI overview says Iowa U.S. Senate candidate Rep.
Ashley
Ashley
Hinson.
Hinson
Yeah,
is facing scrutiny over her stance on the U.S. war with Iran.
we
So
are going to. She's not going to be a
probably
senator.
need
Zach
to add
Walls is
Handball
going
in
to
there.
beat her. Or no, I'm sorry, he lost his primary. Josh Turek, that's what I like more. Is going to beat her anyways.
You're
We do not
saying
like
he
Ashley Hinson.
actually said something about this?
It's on the beach handball Instagram.
Okay.
Because I read that and I was like, this is maybe the funniest statement that has ever been released in handball history. It was like a statement that I would release.
I love Vincent. That's so funny. I just would not have put that in his game plan to even think about bringing that up.
We've talked about it. The beach handball guys are good at promo. Like, say anything you want about beach.
Where?
They.
Dude,
Do you want me to find it? It's just
I
USA
found.
Beach
Hold
Handball.
on. Press release. Here it is.
Go to. It's on the second page.
Sorry. Yeah, with geopolitical storylines, elite international competition, and the continued rise of beach handball worldwide, Team USA's opening round matchup will be one to watch and is poised to be one of the tournament's most compelling storylines. Holy cow, Mike!
I told you. I mean, there's no bigger compelling storyline.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
are they gonna
gotta
bring
hype
guns?
this up, man.
We are actively at war. Like,
Dude, the thing is that like, and for us on the beach side is like, our beach guys are Americans. Like, I'm not. Like,
yeah,
they're
they are
born and
Californian,
raised
blue-blooded.
California Kings. Like, I'm gonna tell Cody.
they are also
like,
good at
you
their
throw some
sport.
extra elbows in there, man. Like, we'll shut this down. You know,
Dude, if Cody beats Iran single-handedly, like, that's a gold medal moment.
we'll send him to Trump. Send him right to
Okay.
Trump. This man
You're wearing
defeated
your red hat
Iran.
right
you
there.
should learn something from him.
I will try to put in some calls and see if I can get some national
Get an interview.
political attention.
Get an interview. I think that's in the cards.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, so we got Beach World Championship starting in 2 weeks. Next week,
2 weeks, I think. Yeah.
2 weeks. So tune in for the geopolitical intrigue match of the century.
Of which
I
will take
live-
20 minutes because beach handball takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I live under a rock, so like I don't know about any of this Iran
No, yeah.
business. So I don't know.
It's not great.
You make it sound like it's a kind of a pretty big deal. So
It is a war, statistically
well,
speaking.
when I asked my mom about wars, did I tell you about this? she
Is this fun appropriate?
she told me we haven't been to a war since '42. I was like, Mom.
We had a draft for Vietnam. Like, argue about like Iraq war all you want to get. Like, there was a draft in Vietnam.
I was like, all right, I'm not going to win this. I'm not winning this war. So I'm just going to ignore
Okay.
this. So that's the sphere I operate with. Anyways, back to nationals. Avoiding any
Another
geopolitical.
war.
We didn't have, as previous national championship events, we did not have any hate crimes that I was aware of at said
Thank
tournament,
God.
such as Vegas from a few years ago with the Palestinian flag situation, as well as the Jews and Germans. So
Not great.
there's just not a lot of love at that one, which we might touch upon Vegas here at the end if I don't forget.
Please.
So, solid weekend of games. I think men's elite, there were, I don't know, 7 or 8 teams. Men's open, there was 11 teams, and women had, I think, 14 teams or something. Women had a ton. There was like a crazy number of women teams.
Genuinely great, yeah.
Like new teams on the block, like SoCal, Milwaukee, couple other teams I'd not seen before. San Diego had a solid team. Like there was good, representation across the board. SoCal team had a bunch of ladies that have been training hard that were part of some of those viral events that from earlier in the year. So big shout out to the women's handball scene. I think they're the ones that understand the assignment and are doing something about it. So thank you. I did commentate or play in every single game the entire weekend.
Typical JD
So
weekend.
the downside is that I did not know in one of the games I did not know the stream wasn't live until luckily somebody came over and told me that it hadn't gone live. So shout out that guy. It was Benjamin Peterson's uncle. So shout out him.
Good guy.
And then did not know, and God bless Kurt and all the effort that he put in, but the audio for all of one of the courts was completely useless. So any game that was commentated on that court was just trash. So I don't know if it's the microphones, if it's the mixer, I don't know what the deal was there, but that was a problem. But commentated a lot of exciting games. Their Chicago women's team, they had a lady that I don't know how tall she was, but she had to have been like 6'6", 6'7". She was she was Wemby out there just doing whatever she wanted.
That's awesome.
That team was a cheat code. They had too many superstars. Like Debony, the Mexican lady, she was like their third best player, and she was the best player at the Vegas tournament.
Yeah.
Last 2 years. They played Rogue in the championship. Rogue being like most
US
of our women's
team, yeah.
national team, coached by Sarah Gascon, the women's national team coach. Max, do you know how many goals that Rogue scored in that game?
More or less than USA versus Yugoslavia in '64.
It was more, but
5?
not by much. They only had 4 goals in.
Oh
yeah.
no, that's not.
I'm trying to remember if it was 4 goals in the half or 4 goals total. It was bad.
Yeah, that's not quite what you would want to see in that situation.
And that was in the final. So it was a tough scene. To say that this is like a good number of our national team players, and we can't score 4 goals in 30 minutes. We can only score 4 goals in 30 minutes.
We have a ways to go.
Yeah, it had to have been the half. I don't remember what the final score was, but it was a tough game for them. On the open side, men's open, what a story there. You had the Lewis Howe's team, which he brought guys that played in Second League Denmark and First League Netherlands.
Big fan.
So he's got like 4 guys that play high level in Europe, and then he's got like a bunch of other guys that have played in handball in other countries, and he's got a couple guys that live in LA and whatnot. So, and we played them our first game, and I saw, because I knew Tim, and he plays.
So funny, dude.
He literally just played in the Dutch final, and they lost to Volendam.
And you were playing an open. It is. I'm not even going to go full off on Lewis here. I've said my piece online about Lewis. Gaming the system is one thing in Elite. I don't like it, but I have a certain amount of understanding that it happens on every side, and it's something you do. Open is there to be open. Open is there for American clubs to go out and it's our Super Bowl. I've played in a lot of Open national championships in Open. I love playing in Open because it's guys just like us that are not very good, are varying levels of good, and have varying levels of passion, and everyone's there to have a good time. Bringing in ringers for Open is just so far beyond the pale to me that it's like, what are we doing here? Like, congrats on your win, man. Like, you beat high school. There were high school, college freshmen on the team. Congrats, man.
Yep.
Like, Danish second division players should never be playing college freshmen.
And this dude, like, he was sick. Like, he had a...
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure he was awesome to watch, but, like, it's just so ridiculous that we're at the point where it's like, oh, yeah, I have $75K GoFundMe money. I might as well fly in my second division Danish guys to go wreck the Open division. Because I'd assume he was afraid that they couldn't play Elite because they wouldn't win or something. Like,
probably, yeah. I don't think they would have won Elite with that team. So let's fast forward.
Open. Yeah,
fast forward. So they, walk their way to the final as everybody expected. So they're playing in the final. They're playing Nyak's second team, And the Nyack second team is the, all our boys. It's the
the Long
SSC
Island Tigers,
guys.
boys,
It's the
my
Long Island
guys.
Tigers.
Yep.
It's Mike Parada. It's the queen. The king
I've
of the
won a
cup.
trophy with them.
Yeah. What was the James Madison?
Yeah, James, whatever the
that
crown.
play for the crown. Yeah, that team. It was so Brian Buchanan, freaking Quan, the Brandon, and what's his Chris. The Jacob Roberts was the goalie. They brought in a goalie from Croatia.
All-time team for us.
It's our squad. AD.
Yeah.
I mean, all those dudes. Kevin. The list. It was Jay from Detroit. It's
They made that squad in a lab for us to like.
yeah. So that's our team, and I'm commentating this game, and Chris Kappelman's the coach, and he comes over to me, and before the game, he's like, you just watch and see what I do in the second half, and I was like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, what are you kind of scheme you got? And because he's like, ask me how you think this game's gonna go, and I was like, I don't know, Coach Kappelman, what do you think of this game? He's like, just wait and see till the second half, and I'm just like. Is he going to bring in a gorilla or something, live bear onto the court? So Nyack is in this game. They are fighting very well. And it wasn't until maybe 15 minutes left in the game where they started that lead for LA went from 2 to 5 or 6. And at that point, I think Kappelman saw the writing on the wall. They got a 2-minute. And then this is when I started to kind of just question what was happening, because they get the 2-minute, and then he has the guy come back on again that just got the 2-minute, and he shoves him out onto the court, and I'm just I never really thought we figured it out, so I just kind of played it off, and then I see all right, we start play, and then they sub somebody on again, and I'm like, okay, now I see what he's doing. So if you don't have more than 3 players on the court at a time, the game's forfeited. So he just got enough 2 minutes that they only had 3 guys left, and then the game ended. So LA did not win because they just forfeited the game. I was like, and I talked to who was I talking to? Because it was either AD or Kevin, I think, and they were like, I didn't know what was happening until the 3rd time, and I was like,
so he's just illegal subbing over and over.
Yeah, he just
That's
completely
so awesome.
just to end the game, and the LA guys were kind of all ticked about it, and I'm like, hats off to Cap. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him on a lot of things probably, but that I was like, I'm all
Chris,
for that.
But
and that's the final from an open.
That's
standpoint.
the kind of shit we would pull if we were really, really pissed. We would never do it in a competitive game, but you get us pissed off, and who knows what's happening.
So let me just talk to you about your team that you own, the Columbus Armada, real quick on the squad that we took. One of the individuals, because we were frantically trying to find players because I had 4 guys back out the day before for a variety of reasons. Not really good reasons, but just a variety of them.
Yeah.
One of the guys was on the free agent list, and I reached out to him. He said his name was Fred, and that he lived in Missoula, Montana. And I was like, well, Fred, from Montana, if you find your way, you're welcome to play with us. So Fred's like, well, that's the problem, is the flight's really expensive. And I was like, okay, well, I can't do anything about that, but if you find a cheaper flight to Columbus and or Chicago, you can ride with us from either of those spots. He's like, okay, I find a flight to Chicago. Now, Fred is, I come to find out, he played 10 years in Burundi. So I'm sitting here like, oh, okay.
Pretty good, good.
10 years, all right. I know a lot of our African handball guys. They got some skills.
They compete, yeah.
So Fred tells me he's going to go to Chicago. I'm like, all right, send me your flight information. This is Wednesday. We're leaving Thursday. I look at the itinerary because I was just like, I didn't have time. And sure enough, he's flying to Columbus. Luckily, we had not left yet. I then had to go pick up him and the other African guy on our team, Teddy. Teddy is from Sierra Leone, and he had told me that he wouldn't be able to leave till 5 o'clock. So I had work meetings that I scheduled because I wasn't planning to leave. And then he texted me at 2:30 saying, I'm done with work. And I'm like, God dang it. Go pick up this Fred guy from the airport. Meet me at my house. It was a whole. Then I was meeting another guy in Van Wert, picking him up along the way. Somebody else is like, Colby's like, I'm driving myself because I got a meeting on Sunday. I got a 6 a.m. flight Sunday, so I can't play Sunday or Saturday night. Arvid's like, I'm driving myself. F you guys. Like, I don't want to hang out with any of these people. The Swede in him just came out so strong. So it was me, Bruce, Teddy, Fred, and Chris. This Chris dude, you'll love this. He finds us on Instagram or something. He lives in Akron. He drives down every week for practice. He was a professional ultimate player.
That's awesome.
And he is the world record holder for the single leg split squat or single leg pistol squat. I'm not joking.
It's like the most handball guy you could create.
Exactly.
Okay. Good
so
for him.
we have our first game against LA. And I told the national team assistant coaches, Petter and Daniel, that I'm going to put you on the roster. I'm going to put Kurt on the roster. I'm going to put Mike King on the roster because they've all played for the Armada at some point. So Petter, he's 6'5", like 250 Swedish guy. He's like, oh, I'll play. And like he saw how bad we were, and then I think he didn't want to play with us ever again. And the game against LA did not help, but like the Fred guy, he again 10 years of playing handball. Now Max, tell me 3 rules for handball. Give me 3 rules. Like if you went up to somebody and they never heard of handball before, give me 3 rules.
Rule 3 is 3 steps, 3 seconds, dribble.
Okay, so this dude did not understand that you could only take 3 steps. Every time he touched the ball, he was just a running back, running around.
Maybe they play the wall handball in Burundi.
Second, he had no regard for the 6 on offense or defense. Anytime the ball was within his vicinity, he was going to get a penalty drawn because he was just 10 feet inside the 6. And when he was on offense, like we're doing the goalie like warm up, all right? Goalie warm up. Everybody's like shooting from like 9. Yeah. He's running up and he's literally 2 meters away from me. And I'm like, dude, like what are you, and he's throwing like right at me. I'm like, I don't want to be. Oh, it was tough, man.
We need him.
It was tough.
That's awesome. Did he learn or did he just?
I will get to that.
Oh,
no. So we have like this just standard Armada mixed bag team, and I told Arvid, this is by far the worst team I've ever assembled in the history of me assembling teams for handball games.
Bad teams.
And Arvid balled out, man. He was like almost top scorer. It was him and Bruce. I'd make a save. Bruce would be on the outlet. That was our offense. So we played at Milwaukee Saturday morning, and we very much could have won that game. I just did not play well. And I played well against LA, but I didn't play well, and we just didn't have any offense or defense. So we lose to Milwaukee. And then we played – who did we play? We played SSC. They were our team in our group. So it was like a bunch of random SSC guys coached by Hansi.
That's awesome.
And so we played them, and it ended as perfectly as you could imagine. It was a tie.
Perfect game.
But at this point, we had because this was later in the evening Saturday, Colby had to leave, and Chris got hurt in the Milwaukee game, and he just said, hey, I'm just going to go home anyways. So we just lost 2 guys, and we only had 1 sub. So now I had to find a sub. So Friday night, after our first loss, we're at the bar at TBK, and there's a guy that's helping clean up. Actually, I was in the gym cleaning up, and then one of the guys cleaned the floor. He's like, dude, this handball looks sick. Like, I wish I could play. I'm like, well, how about you play for me tomorrow? And I was like, are you over 18? He's like, no, I'm 17. I'm still in high school. I'm like, God dang it. I was like, I need somebody that's over 18 because I don't want to deal with safe sport. He's like, oh, my buddy, he's going to be perfect. I'm going to tell him. So he gets his friend, and he brings him over. He's like, dude, this guy's going to play for you. I'm like, all right, get a US2 handball membership. We're going to play.
Yeah.
I talked to Brian. I talked with everybody. Like, we're finishing dead last. Like, I just wanted to have enough people to play. Like, I will pay the penalty if there is one or whatever. I talked to other teams. There's no problem here. So this dude suits up, and he puts in significantly better minutes than Fred. And this guy, literally no context of handball whatsoever, versus Fred, who played for 10 years. Fred did have one good defensive possession where he guarded his man, and I will commend him for that, but that was it.
Would you say that Fred is worse than me?
Yeah.
That's tough,
Hands
Fred.
down.
Fred, if you're listening, man, we got to hit the gym.
He's not. So Fred then tells me after our game Saturday night that he's like, hey, I'm going to leave. I'm done. And I've got a flight to Missoula from here. And it's at 6 a.m. And you need to take me to the airport. And I was like, fine. Whatever, dude. So I take him to the airport. So we have one game left Sunday because we didn't know, or we played SSC again and we beat them. And then we have one more game Sunday, and it's the last game of the tournament against Dallas. And at this point, we have no subs. So it was, and we only had 6 people. So we played, we only had 6 people. So I played offense and would then run back and play goalie. Dallas had a guy that was up for top scorer, but he had to score like 20 goals against us. So our whole mission was to just not let him be top scorer, and this dude was try-harding so hard.
Of course.
To the point where, like, I'm up on offense, and he has an empty goal, and they just miss the shot. So we're like 10 minutes into this game, and we're like down by 1. Like, it's like 6-5. So it was a pretty respectful game from us for our last game, but so that was the open division, and then on the elite side, I don't really have anything to talk about. It was New York City versus Nyack's super team, and the Nyack super Danish team, they beat New York City in overtime. There was a double red card situation or something. I literally was like packing up the gym. I did not watch it, but it had a full number of fans. And speaking of fans, I tried to teach people how to cheer during the USA Greenland game. Holy cow, was that tough. I lost my voice. I couldn't walk. I was trying to teach them we tried to teach them how to do the wave, tried to teach them like USA, go defense. Like I found these kids that were in a soccer tournament. I was like, you guys come over here. There was like 8 of them. I was like, you guys need to just do chants while I try to teach everybody else how to do chants. And it was tough. I had some cowbells, so it was a good time. But since I'm losing you, Max, I want to touch on our last topic of the evening.
Not my attention span. I realized I had a work thing, so I was looking at my work stuff. That's on me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No,
you're not losing me. Work is gaining me. Last topic of the Vegas.
The last topic. No. Your claim to fame. I've titled this episode as Shrek for Senate, Ohio Senate.
Right,
That's what I titled this.
Let's do
episode.
I'll just do a quick rundown. So, I get a call last week from.
Let's back up on why you're even in this mix. For those that don't know,
for many years. I started in 2021. On the side, I write professionally. I get paid to write. It's a great gig for whoever pays me. And I write for this Columbus politics blog called The Rooster, which is pretty big in Columbus, like way bigger than you would expect in Columbus circles, like very large readership. Some people in Columbus know
people know about it now.
Yeah,
people
now
know
especially now. Even before, like a shockingly large readership. And I greatly enjoy writing for them. I'm the only named writer outside of the guy who runs it, DJ. And I also act as his PR person on Twitter because he was permanently banned from Twitter. So I have a pretty large footprint in that regard, not in any other regards, obviously. And it's like a leftist, anti-establishment style political blog. I do a lot of the writing about Ohio State. I focus on Ohio State being evil, which is no surprise to anyone who knows me. I get a call from someone who will go unnamed on Monday, and he says, hey, like, emergency situation, DJ just got arrested. And I'm like, oh shit, like really bad. Like obviously the guy, DJ, the Rooster, and he sends me a photo of DJ getting hauled out in cuffs from the State House where he works. And so I tweeted out, free the Rooster, and blew up very quickly. Like, as I said, I mean, anyone seeing this, like, fairly big political guy in Ohio getting arrested is big news. And my phone starts getting blown up. and I pretty quickly figure out what happened just by talking to a couple people.
My
And
phone gets blown up because people are like, JD, what's going on here with Max?
And what happened was I found out very quickly, and I started tweeting about it and giving interviews. And I was interviewed by the Columbus Dispatch, who asked me what he was arrested over, and I gave a truthful answer, which he was arrested for sending a state senator a photo of Shrek's penis, and 100% the truth. And the Dispatch, I thought they were going to run it as like not me saying that. I think I just assumed when I told them that they would run like a rooster arrested for sending Shrek's penis, and instead it was Max Littman says that the rooster was arrested for sending Shrek's penis, which was very unfortunate for me. I was just telling the truth. I was just answering the interview question. And so now when you look up my name, all there is, like the Dispatch published an infographic, and it was literally, Max Littman tells the Dispatch, DJ Bird's been arrested. And I was like, why are we doing this for me?
It's in green.
It's in
like
the
text. It's in green.
And this story isn't going to go away either. It's been quiet intentionally because the trial is going to be soon, and like the legal process is ongoing. After that, there's going to be a lot more, I'm going to guess, and I'll get dragged through the mud again. People are blowing up JD's number. JD texts me like, "What's this deal with Shrek?" And I'm like, "JD, you don't want to know. I don't want to know. My good name, like coworkers, you said are going to. Everyone knows you that knows me."
We had other random people that I had enlisted into our investigation about another gubernatorial candidate and his extramarital activities.
Yeah, we were working on something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to get some information on that, and that's when I enlightened them to you and the rooster, and then they followed you so that they could get insight on some stuff. So that's how we got to that point. But
it was a rough situation, and I'm glad that it's a bit in the mirror because I did not send the message. I would not send that to anyone. Even my worst enemy in the handball world, I would not send Shrek to. I respect, as an American, his free speech right to send that to anyone, and I do not think he should have been arrested for it. The worst was, I was on, I'm a big runner. I was on my run on Sunday. I knocked out a 5K on Sunday, and
okay,
I knock out 5Ks like, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but like not infrequently now, like just by myself. Not horrible times either. And I'm getting a call on my watch. I'm like 2 minutes into my run. And so I pick it up, and it was the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and it's coming out of my watch, and they're like, "Can you tell us what you think about the arrest of Mr. Burns?" And I'm like huffing and puffing. I gave just the worst quote answer. I was like, "I think it's an insult to our democratic process," or whatever. But it was just because like I was out of breath because I was mid-run. And then like they printed the quote, of course, word for word, and it was like, I was like, a journalist should never be arrested for the scope of his work, which is like, there were ways to word it better, and I think I worded it poorly, but I was like, wow, I just gave the dumbest quote because I was in the middle of my 5K. Not a flex, just a big runner,
Yeah, big Max Littman, big runner.
That's I think a lot of people, like you, expected me to just give up running, and I have stuck with it. I ran my first sub 10 mile, actually, a month ago-ish, maybe 2 months ago.
Sub 10, okay.
Went 9:50, and then I followed it up with a first 20-minute 2 mile, which felt pretty good.
I couldn't tell you how fast a mile I run because the last time I ran a timed mile was freshman year of college when I said I wanted to run a 6-minute mile, and I did, and then I never timed it ever again.
Yeah, I never.
Nor did I ever run a mile after that.
With that said, I'm working on it.
Okay, good.
We have a very beautiful path here.
Yeah. That's the Chicago suburb.
No, in Chicago now. Chicago now.
Chicago. Okay.
There's a pretty marked difference.
All right. Well, Max has work to do, and I think this is a good 90-minute episode.
Our longest episode in a very long time. Outside of me losing attention for like 5 minutes of open talk, I think this was a great episode.
Yeah. Covered a lot of spread. We had a lot of people asking for more. Literally, shout out to Proctor family. They were begging me to get more content out there. So we'll have some more coming up. We'll touch on the Ohio River showcase series with the beach handball scene here in Ohio later this summer.
Ohio River Showdown series.
So, all right, Max, any closing thoughts?
This is a whirlwind of an episode. So if you listened, thank you for listening. To the handball community, we will be in touch this summer. You will be seeing more of me.
Classic. Great ending there. So with that, keep on shooting, shooters.